Jarna Hector. Welcome to National Focus. Coming up on National Focus, Prime Minister Skerrit calls for Dominicans to promote Dominica positively. Agriculture Minister goes on site visits to assess the extent of damage by black sigatoka, and educators recognized at the annual Excellence in Education Awards. Stay with us as we bring you details of these stories and more when National Focus returns. Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. In an exclusive interview on Thursday, Director of Agriculture Ricky Brumant told GIS News that the construction of an abattoir in Dominica will bring major benefits to the island. An abattoir is a facility where animals are slaughtered for consumption as food products, and Brumant listed food value and safety as two major advantages of the facility.
Dominica needs a national abattoir, there's no doubt about it. This comes from two basic tenets. One, food safety. We ensure that the way things are being done, where slaughtering are concerned, this will be out of the window. So it ensures that our populace will be safe where meat is concerned. And secondly, value addition. It means that our populace also will be able to receive a product that is similar to what we sometimes think is better from overseas. So essentially, in the eyes of the public, we can compete. And culturally, we can change the way consumers approach locally produced products.
According to Brumant, mass production of poultry and pork are next on the agenda, which raises the need for a feed mill as well as a livestock farm.
We're going to look at a hatchery, to look at providing chicks for these enterprises we're talking about, and feed. So there will be the development of a feed mill. We well appreciate that for poultry and pork, feed is a very important input. And the cost is spiraling every time. And so we have to take stock of that. So feed and provision of chicks will be important. For the provision of piglets for the commercial enterprises, the central livestock farm, and the government has been forward-looking in that the central livestock farm has the capacity to produce piglets, as well too we would most probably have farms that are or can do the piglets based on standard set.
The agriculture director stated that with the construction of the abattoir, an export market to include Europe, Martinique, and Guadeloupe will be pursued. In other news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit is appealing to Dominicans to promote constructive things about the island. The Prime Minister was speaking to the opening ceremony of Independence 2012 celebrations recently when he said that the constant barrage of negative comments affects every single Dominican.
We must never be found criticizing our country to strangers or even among ourselves. We can speak about the bad things or the not so good things that are happening. But we must always speak in a positive view of our country. Because after all, we are the ones who make up Dominica. We are Dominica. And how could we speak bad of ourselves? How could we speak ill of ourselves? How could we, instead of praying that God brings progress to our country, pray for God to bring darkness upon Dominica? As if to say, well, if it affects one person, it will affect me. If a hurricane comes here, God forbid, it's going to affect every single person. If we go and we destroy the schools, our children are going to suffer. If we go and we destroy the government buildings and the roads and the parks in an indiscriminate manner, it is going to affect us. Because monies the government will have to do a particular project, we have to divert the funds to correct the mischief that has been created.
Honorable Skerrit also noted that speaking only negative of the country will have adverse effects on the nation's children.
We have to promote the positive things that are happening in our country and build from it. We have to give our children an understanding that being in Dominica and being a Dominican is a proud thing to proclaim. They must not be growing up every morning and every day, every night, all they hear are negative things in the home and in society. Because if we continue to do that, they will have a very negative view of life and get themselves in antisocial behaviors.
Prime Minister Skerrit told Dominicans to speak instead of the illustrations of social progress that can be seen all over the island. He listed the Dominica State College, the Waitukubuli National Trail, and the State House Complex as 3 examples of positive developments. In related news, the Prime Minister says construction is soon to begin on 2 massive housing compounds in Bath Estate and Ems Hall. Honorable Skerrit believes that too many families want for affordable housing, and the purpose of the apartment is to provide comfortable and low-cost accommodation for families.
And very soon, we will start the construction of well over 60 apartment units in Bath Estate and in Ems Hall to provide modern accommodation to so many families who continue to struggle with rent. When I speak to people about the amount of money they spend on rent in some small apartment, there's no way these people can survive. And the government recognizes that challenge, and we've gone ahead and we're starting to build apartments to provide for these single mothers who have to pay $1,950 for a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom home in the capital city. And we're hoping that next year, God's willing, we can hand over 60 keys to 60 families who will have a modern home at a much reduced cost to them and their families.
When ministry officials first learned of the Black Sigatoka's presence on the country, they embarked on an aggressive campaign to prevent the spread of the dreadful disease. As part of their campaign, extension officers visited farms, educating farmers island-wide on the identification and management of the disease. They were advised that use of proper procedure is important in the destruction of damaged plants to prevent further contamination of the field. For the plants that were severely affected, more immediate action was necessary. Agriculture Minister Honorable Matthew Walter and officials from the Ministry of Agriculture set out on a field trip on Wednesday to dialogue with farmers about the pest management system, policies and regulations for the management of Black Sigatoka. Barnabas Tavernier, a farmer of plantain and banana crops in Mopo, operates on half an acre of land. His farm was affected by the Black Sigatoka, and he is currently in the process of deleafing.
Were you affected by the Black Sigatoka?
Very bad, yes.
So what have you done to, in preparation?
Well, they had sprayed me, but I see it still come back, so I deleafed this morning.
Okay. So you're deleafing, but not too severely, I hope?
No, not bad. No.
Leaving sufficient leaves on the plant?
Yes.
Okay, well, we should be seeing some more spraying in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
During the interview, Mr. Tavernier stated that his production of bananas was not severely affected.
Well, it was all right, but after the disease, it affects some, so I had to cut down some.
Okay. All right.
But more bunches now because I cut it down, because it had much leaves on it, so I cut them down.
Philipson later, a plantain farmer in Viebois, spoke with an extension officer about his lot.
We're interested in the Black Sigatoka management. Did you have it on your plot here?
Yes, I do have it on my plot.
Any other areas where you might have it?
Well, it's a little further down the road in my same area. I have some.
Okay, have you been sprayed recently since
yes, they had sprayed recently for me, but not all, the whole plot.
So why did they leave part of it out?
Because the rest of it wasn't cleaned yet. It wasn't deleafed, and I just sprayed with gromazone, so hopefully by the coming week, I'll do that.
Okay, because we're supposed to be looking at the cultural practices, cleaning, desuckering, deleafing, taking off anything that is diseased before we can go and spray for chemicals. So we're looking forward to you doing all of that.
All right, I'll do that, yes. As soon as where the permits and the time is there, I'll do that.
Minister for Agriculture, Honorable Matthew Walter, stated that the Black Sigatoka disease has the capabilities of destroying the banana and plantain industry in Dominica.
We are concerned about 2 very important things. One, to ensure food security, and also for the exportation of bananas and plantain to the region and extra-regional markets. And we also are aware that we need the foreign exchange earnings, and we need to generate rural employment and consequently economic activities in Dominica. It's a concern for us.
The minister commended his team for their endeavors to contain the disease on the island.
I am extremely happy that, the management committees that we have in place under the coordination, of Mrs. Abraham, and not forgetting the one at the helm, who is Mr. Ryan Anselm, and all the other technical officers in the Division of Agriculture. They have been working extremely hard to ensure that black sigatoka does not take total control of our banana and plantain industry in Dominica. So I need to applaud them for that.
The minister appealed to farmers to join with the Ministry of Agriculture in their fight against the black sigatoka disease.
The farmers themselves must help us, because all the interventions and all the resources that we are going to put in place to contain and to manage black sigatoka, we will not be able to realize any benefits from that, if the farmers do not come on board with us. We also, I need to applaud many of the farmers who have complied, those who have gone to ensure that on a daily, weekly basis that they deliver, because this is the first step, to the intervention to contain and to manage black sigatoka in Dominica. And so far, I have visited some fields in the south and also in the southeast, and many of the farmers have done the sanitary measures that are beneficial to the containment and management of black sigatoka.
We'll bring you more on this story in a subsequent newscast. In more news, Dominica's Director of Agriculture, Ricky Brumant, believes that farmers and agriculture stakeholders should be optimistic about the future of agriculture in Dominica. Brumant says with investments from a partner like the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and the foresight of this government, a productive future can be expected.
The Venezuelans are a very willing partner for development, agricultural development in the country. We welcome this sort of intervention. And it has gone and it will continue to go a long way in ensuring that the farmers of this country realize livelihoods and the economic situation changes where particularly the rural space is concerned. The Venezuelans have already supported us in a number of ways. Agricultural stakeholders generally should be optimistic about agriculture. We understand that it's a difficult landscape and climate to work in. But in truth and in fact, I believe that, and we are positioning in a way centrally backed by government to position the agricultural sector for proper outputs, for very viable interventions, very viable enterprises.
The agriculture official says he is hopeful about what lies ahead.
I am very optimistic. The country can be optimistic. And like I said, it's not an easy climb. But the end of the road, if we follow the right pathway in terms of decision making, in terms of planning, in terms of policy, in terms of grassroots action, I'm very optimistic for the agricultural sector. And what the Venezuelans are doing are going to impact positively.
Over 40 teachers and principals were awarded for their exemplary leadership and passion on Thursday when the annual Excellence in Education Awards was held at the Arawak House of Culture. Chief Education Officer Stevenson Hyacinth explained the concept of the awards.
The Excellence in Education Award is grounded in the belief that excellent principals and excellent teachers play a deciding role in realizing the goals of our educational system. It is guided by the notion that the opportunity to receive a quality education is a fundamental right of every child. as the Ministry of Education, we're not only looking at education as a right, but we are also emphasizing the qualitative improvement in the teaching and learning processes at our schools. We are looking to ensure that all our students receive a high-quality education.
And according to Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, teaching is the single most important profession in the world, and educators deserve to be applauded for their dedication.
It is an especially special occasion for me, as we do something that I think is so necessary in the field of education, and that is to recognize and celebrate the contribution of those who have influenced and continue to influence positively the lives of thousands of Dominicans. As a former teacher, I know firsthand how your work can impact the lives of your students and how the job that teachers do can have far-reaching effects on our society. Teaching, I think, is the single most important profession in the world. I know that in your careers as teachers and principals, you sometimes feel disadvantaged in comparison to your peers who earn more than you do in other professions. And so it is important that we all acknowledge that as educators, you represent the cornerstone of our society. You are the unsung heroes of Dominica.
Acting Education Minister Honorable Justina Charles addressed the ceremony and appreciated teachers for touching lives. The minister said that every single life has been positively impacted by a teacher at one point or another.
I am sure you will all agree with me that outstanding teachers and administrators are the backbone of any education system. Educators have made a difference in all our lives at one point or another. Ask yourself, who is that one special educator that has motivated you to excel? I am sure you remember that special person. These great teachers and principals went above and beyond the call of duty many times in their approach to coaching, mentoring, and instructing. Teachers, principals, you have helped to shape many students into responsible, contributing members of society, and your presence here today indicates that you continue to serve with pride and dedication.
The featured speaker was Alma Kuzla-Teague, who is a retired education officer and past teacher. Her remarks told teachers how very appreciated they are.
I am therefore very cognizant of the unique opportunities that you have, as well as the challenges that beset you in this most noble profession. Colleagues, we gather here today to commend, highlight, and reward excellence in education. We value the contributions made by you, our teachers, to the development of our communities. John F. Kennedy, an American president, once articulated the idea that a nation's progress can be no swifter than its progress in education, because the human mind is the world's fundamental resource.
GIS News will bring you more from that award ceremony in subsequent newscasts. And that's the English segment of the news. We now join Marcus in St. Louis for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ce nouvel Creole. Non, moi, c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Premièrement, ministère agriculture Honorable Matthew Walter, est chef en délégation gouvernement Dominique, qui visitait l'occasion sud et puis sud-est pays là, où l'un habitant affecté par maladie Black Sikatoka, qui a bien détruit l'industrie figue et puis banane. M. Ryan Ansem, c'est officier quarantine, ministre agriculture.
Nous, en délégation, avec ministre agriculture, PS director, avec technicien agriculture visité sud et sud-est pays. le ministre agriculture est bien concerné avec Black Sigatoka. Nous regardé on experiment plot. Là, nous avons 4 variétés, 4 hybrids. Nous avons une délégation de Sirad et un expert en Black Sigatoka là, qui a fait hybrid. Il a visité à 16 field là, regarder comment field là même qu'a gommé code Black Sigatoka. Nous bien contents pour aider à Sirad Kabanu. Le whole programme ministère agriculture et pas seulement spray, un chemical. Nous avons regardé pour mener à Dominique variété qui est résistante contre Black Sigatoka. Ce programme là même c'est un programme integrated programme. Là nous avons servi sanitation, nutrition, fungicide, nous avons mené resistant variety pour gommer contre maladie. Nous les bien merci pour Sirad. Pour aider nous avons 4 variétés qui nous avons évalué Sirad nous aider nous bien pour nous garder comment nous gommer contre Black Sigatoka.
En autre nouvelle, ministère pour le développement community Honorable Gloria Shillingford qui a bien complimenté Dominicien qui a vivre l'autre pays, qui a continué à faire une bonne contribution pour le développement Dominique, Rod Olayoye. Ministre Shillingford applaudit Dr. Carissa Etienne qui tape succès et puis travaille apprêtement comme chef à Pan American Health Organization PAHO. Ministre l'a fait parole qui a aussi créé à ces Dominicains ici pour mener recognition pour pays la manière où ça avance quoi ayo en bagaille où ça fait. Honorable Shillingford aussi complimenté Dominicains l'autre pays pour chaîne activité culturelle en ces pays là you can vivre. En autre nouvelle, plusieurs teachers à l'école secondaire et puis primary tapent recognition pour bon travail à yo avancer système éducation en Dominique. Cérémonie prend place en Kai Culture Arawak en Wozo Jodea. Plusieurs officiers en parmi président His Excellency Elliot Williams, premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, moun la qui a tient position comme ministre d'éducation Honorable Justina Charles, en parmi d'autres attendent cérémonie. Ministre jeunesse Honorable Justina Charles, qui a tient position comme ministre d'éducation.
Manière gouvernement, qui mutuelle manière nous apprécier travail, c'est principal et teacher en l'école primaire et secondaire. Et nous savons que c'est moun sa la qui travaille et puis enfants nous avec nous supposer dire comment nous apprécier ça yo ka fait because nous savons travail très important pour make sure nous ni en society là nous ni moun qui ça nous ça développe human resource base nous et nous ni moun qui ça vivre en society en la paix avec yo ça développer quoi yo pour yo ça aider yo même quoi yo même famille yo et society because nous savons plus ambition qui plus important pour nous Dominique c'est moun nous qui en pays là et nous quoi éducation moun nous c'est ambition qui très important et nous passe à point pour libre so nous ni pour faire tout ça nous ni pour faire so nous quand ouais c'est moun qui a poussé qualité travail ça là c'est ces teachers là et ces principal là et nous ni pour really dire comment nous content ça yo ka fait là because sans travail yo nous pas savent comment enfants nous tékéyer comment société là tékéyer.
Nouvelle en créole qui n'est plus de détails à ces activités là demain c'est développé. Et puis finalement division Forêt ministre agriculture a informé public là que le gouvernement Dominique a quitté moun aller la chasse le 1er octobre pour le 31 décembre l'année là. En temps ça là, moun qui ni licence équipement pour pêcher, ça prend kwab, milé, agouti, manicou et puis wamne seulement. Yo aussi qu'a fait public la connaître que moun qui pas ni licence pêcher qui a cassé loi forêt payant. Public là aussi ni apporte attention pour pas aller derrière gibier lézard et puis quapo. Moun qui intéressant ça t'appelle licence rod les 4 mois salam en l'office forêt en Wozo, Trésor Guantans et puis en Marigot. Division forêt commande public là pour assister pour protéger les ressources naturelles à pays là. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle créole pour à présent. Non moins c'est Macpherson St. Louis. Au revoir.
Up next is a tip of the day.
Hello, I'm Felix Anderson. Afternoon, and I'm here to tell you why it's better to buy your bag bread looking like this and not like Jabasak, a pig in a book, a cat in a bag. Come on, if it's bagged, it's got to be tagged. Let me show you what I mean. Hello, ma'am. Can you tell me what's in that bag?
So you're not seeing it's a brown bread?
It looks like one, but you sure it's a brown bread?
Your face looking like the brown bread.
Brown and proud. If it's bagged, it's got to be tagged. Bakers, consumers, and retailers, please ensure that all your bagged bakery products clearly display brand name, product name, batch number, net contents, country of origin, list of ingredients, expiry date, identification code, and other important information about the product. Check the Dominica Bureau of Standards for details. So, am I right or am I right?
One tip for writing a striking resume is to use the right keywords. If your resume does not have the keywords related to the job you're applying for, you will be out even before the game starts. These keywords will usually be nouns. Check the job description and related job ads for a clue on what the employer might be looking for. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. Or you could visit our GIS Dominica pages on both YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for watching.